Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tuppercast. This is going to be another just kind of casual talking about our experience episodes because this is certainly not a topic that we're really able to guide people that much in, really only give our advice and testimony as to how it worked for us, which is the topics of possession and switching. So possession will be the act of your tulpa taking control of only a certain part of your body, much to people's dismay when they hear the name possession. They think it's some sort of like a demonic ghost possession or something, where they uncontrollably take over your body and do all the evil things that tulpas are apparently stereotyped to do. No, it's not that. It's just allowing your tulpa to take control of a particular part of your body, most commonly your arm and hand, so that they can start to learn how to interact with the world and what it's like to interact with the world and do things with your hand through your own body. And how we started on that journey was really just, I know this probably sounds like a broken record at this point for some of these more, dare I say, advanced skills, is it really does boil down to it being that practice makes perfect. How we started out with possession was just, for once, actually concentrating and really doing these sort of meditating sessions where it was quiet, one-on-one time with me and Max, my tulpa, and letting her start just trying, letting her slowly be able to come forward and start take control of my arm and then my hand, and then starting to do things on her own. And once she started being able to do small movements, slowly progress to bigger and bigger ones. And once she got good at doing that during the actual focused one-on-one sessions, we were able to take that elsewhere. Then once we were just out on the road, if she wanted to do something or interact with something, then we started practicing being able to let her do it actually out in the world and be able to latch onto it really quickly. There was a time that we were working on just, I don't remember what it was, it's been so long ago, and she wanted to be a part of it and she wanted to do a particular thing herself, and just like that, she was able to take control of my arm and do that thing on her own. And that just kind of evolves into being able to do more and more different parts, and eventually it became to the part where we initially weren't super familiar with switching and what the process was like, and then switching being the process where, as per the name, you switch places with your tulpa and they have full control over your body and your senses. At that point, we didn't really know what the implications or what it really entails to start doing switching, and so we didn't have much of an idea, really just from lack of trying. Eventually it clicked in, though, that it's like we're spending all this time trying to really nail down being able to do possession and taking over of individual limbs and hands and legs and things like that, where we just sat down one day and I told Max, let's just try seeing what happens if you just wanted to quite literally put yourself in my shoes. And right in that moment, we weren't really able to do it, but for some reason, the next time we went out together was just to bring something to the post office, and she suggested to just give it a try, and all of a sudden it just worked. And it was such a bizarre feeling at first to take what tulpamancers usually called to be the back seat, where it feels like I'm literally being pushed to the back of my head and Max just is in front. She's the one that is talking and giving the package to the person at the desk and thanking them and all that, and she speaks in a pretty drastically different way than me, which some of you may have heard if you've watched the previous episodes of our podcast. And It reflects in her speaking in my voice too, and it felt very strange at first. It definitely took some getting used to, but of course over time, as we started having these moments where she was able to switch in and do her thing and it usually isn't any more than a few minutes at once. She's not adamant on staying in front. She doesn't like love it or anything. It's neat to do every now and then, but she doesn't have this huge desire to be in control. So we don't switch in that often or for that long, but just getting that experience over time did help both her and me become a lot more comfortable with it, and now we're able to do it really seamlessly and it doesn't feel awkward at all. It's definitely an interesting feeling still, but one that does work well and feels surprisingly natural. She actually got so confident in her ability and comfort to switch in and quickly take control of me that as of recently she actually came up with the idea of convincing me to let her do the trust fall, which is that thing that couples or whatever will usually do with each other, where you fall back and let the other person catch you. She doesn't have a physical presence in the physical world to be able to literally catch me, of course, but she convinced me to let her do it anyways, or for me to do it anyways. And so I did. Just fell back, and she actually did just switch in quickly enough to actually catch me, and she did, because I was totally prepared to just fall straight on my ass. Like, it's carpet here, so it's not that big of a deal, but she actually did. She proved that she's now comfortable and familiar with it enough that she can do it that quickly, which I thought was really cool and really cute, that we are able to do the trust fall despite being a host Tulpa couple rather than a physical, real, normal couple. And all this happened over the time span of a couple months. Like, it definitely wasn't a short-term thing, and that really just reinforces the point once again of this is a inherent skill that is going to take a lot of time and a lot of practice to be able to do, and it's one of the biggest variables when it comes to tulpamancy skills out of all the things that we've talked about. It's something that just is going to be very different in experience from one person to the other, and what may work really well for one tulpamancer may not necessarily work that well or at all for another. So this is again just speaking of our experience personally, and there isn't really much advice that we're able to give on this front, but if you're looking for actual advice, as always, we highly recommend checking out some of the actual Tulpa guides that are out there, such as on Tulpanomicon, that we will link down in the description below. If you are wanting to know more about possession and switching and the processes of it and tips and tricks that may help you develop those skills, then yeah, please do check them out. We are always happy to hear about other Tulpas and Tulpamancers alike further their skills and become even greater at being both Tulpas and hosts. Now, I know this may come off as a bit of a short, pointless throwaway episode, and admittedly it basically is kind of that, because I really just wanted to get past this last topic of usual Tulpa skills. As much as we don't really have a whole lot concrete to say about it, then it at least gets it out of the way, and then we can move on to some other topics that we're actually really excited to start talking about, mainly just talking more about our experiences and storytelling, doing some Q&As and other potentially one-on-one stuff where Max herself can get more involved in them. So we really want to see what the future holds beyond just the usual beginner, basic, structured Tulpa talk. And that's what we will be trying to do moving forward after this episode goes out. So hopefully you're looking forward to that in the near future as well. There isn't going to be a fixed upload timeline for when that will come out. It won't be necessarily 2 Fridays from now, because we are going to be traveling in the next little bit here. We're going to be going to the other side of the country, and frankly, even getting this episode out has admittedly been in a bit of a rush just because the past 2 weeks to be able to kind of really save up and make up for this vacation, and really working through some really busy hours at 2 different jobs, and now also planning this trip and everything has just been super, super busy and brutal, and I am just exhausted and I need some time off before we take this trip as well. So can't promise an exact timeline for what is going to come out. I don't really even know what it's going to be for the first episode after this at this point, but if you've enjoyed the podcast so far, then hopefully it'll be something that you will continue to like to hear us talk about. As always though, we remain as active on the subreddit as we can, as do the many other very helpful and friendly and welcoming members on there. So if you have any questions, then feel free to drop us a line down in either just the comments down here below, or come join us on the r/Tulpa subreddit. Until next time though, thank you so much for listening. We hope this was at least helpful or brought a smile to at least one person out there, and we hope to see you again in the next one. Take care and happy tulping. Bye bye.